run and set a world record pushing my son in a jog stroller, set a world record dressed entirely as Spider-Man, so like full kit and like mask. I don't know, I look forward to kind of doing these things as long as people will let me. I think some of the drive behind wanting to do different and unique things is to see if it's even humanly possible, and then if that human can be me, that makes it even more exciting. My name's Michael Wardian, and I am a 42-year-old marathon and ultra-marathon runner from Arlington, Virginia, and I specialize in nothing, in everything, I guess. I do marathons, ultra-marathons, 1-mile races, 100-mile races, treadmills, pushing jog strollers, dressed up like superheroes. I just like to run, and I like to be out there, and I like to see what my body and mind are capable of, and I'm excited to keep exploring that as long as I can. So today we're exploring the Billy Goat Trail, which is a really kind of gnarly, technical, great little piece of trail running in the Northern Virginia, Washington D.C. area. We access the trail from the Old Anglers Inn parking lot via the C&O Canal. The C&O Canal goes like 184 miles or so, all the way out into Maryland and almost Pennsylvania. You bang a left and you're right on the Billy Goat Trail, and then it's kind of your playground. There's rocks, there's climbing, there's scrambling, there's technical pieces, there's nice flat running, and then there'll be times where you get in a nice flow and you can kind of swiftly kind of navigate your way through the rocks, and then there's other sections that are like rocky, jagged, like shark fins that you have to be careful on and be mindful of, or else you'll end up eating dirt. So you can do a nice loop that's about 4.4 miles and be back in your car in under an hour, and then be back at your house within 25 minutes, and in downtown DC at the White House within 15 minutes. So it's really cool to have so much kind of raw adventure so close to such a major metropolitan area.
You have an interesting story behind your store.
Yeah.
You used to work for the Pentagon?
Well, I used to work with my dad for the Department of Justice, and I was just clocking a paycheck, didn't enjoy it, and I found this store here that had a sign that said runner's help needed, and this was in 1999. So I took a part-time job here, and then I just said, you know what? I'm making way less money, I've got way less social time, but I couldn't be happier. So I convinced my parents, in the best sales job of my life, to mortgage their house, shove all our chips in to buy this store here at 1301 King Street, and then we opened Clarendon, and now we have 6 stores, 5 in the DC area and 1 in Princeton, New Jersey, where my dad's from.
You guys are super busy today.
Yeah.
Is it normally like this?
DC is just a highly densely populated area with a lot of runners. So we're very fortunate that here in the heart of Old Town Alexandria, yeah, it's a busy Saturday. So this is pretty typical for Old Town.
So how does that running community tie together throughout the DC, Virginia, Maryland area?
So all these runners, they're all connected and come together and really run in the heart of the DMV area. A lot of great running groups here. So you guys were there this morning at the Iwo Jima Memorial, where you have the Capitol Hill Running Club, the Washington Running Club, DC Road Runners Club. There's plenty. Pacers has a number of clubs that we have that are free and fun runs to get together. There are more running clubs here than anywhere, I believe, in the country. In the research that I've done, and that counts Boston and New York and LA and all these great running places. Great for getting you in shape, but also a great social outlet. And you're going to find great groups to run with, but you're also going to have a drink afterwards or a beer afterwards after your fun run. And to me, makes running, the best activity you can do.
So how much has trail running grown in popularity here in the area?
Well, believe it or not, it's grown tremendously in an area in DC where you don't think of trails. Our trail business is up 100%. All these trails, which is great about the DC area, that you can get pretty much anywhere. And I would be better at actually running from one store to the other than driving. I could give you directions like, all right, you're gonna run this trail to this trail to this trail, versus I can't tell you where to drive, which is a good thing because traffic here is awful.
Yeah.
So there is great trails. The 4 Mile Run Trail, one of them, that's in Arlington and Alexandria. The Mount Vernon Trail here is in Alexandria. You get on the Custis Trail, you can go into DC. The W&D Trail goes all the way out to Leesburg, west. And then once you get into DC, there is a lot more running and trails, soft surface than you would think of, and it's such a highly densely populated area. And it's great that they're all connected. Running downtown, you can run by the Capitol Building, the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, right there on the reflecting pool is great. And then you can get downtown and go on trails in the Rock Creek Park, which is as good running as you'll find. To me, biased, anywhere in the country. It's a great trail that you can do long runs. You can also do hard trail running that is pretty technical at some points there in DC. So variety of anything you want you can find here in DC.
It seems like that, culturally, running-wise. One really cool thing, being from Oregon, that I saw over here was Matt Sintrowitz, but senior, right?
Yeah. So he is a friend of Pacers. He lives in Arlington, right by our Clarendon store. He is our Pacers elite team head coach. Nobody knew who he was. And he was an amazing runner in his own right, of course. As we know, American record holder, ran 13:12. But now everybody knows who he is because
famous again.
His son has made him wildly popular. It's easy to say this now, but I've always claimed him as a local guy here, but now I really claim him as a local guy.
Yeah. Well, that's a special thing to get to watch him grow up.
Oh, yeah.
Virginia has bred a lot of young talent here. I mean, we know Alan Webb, Drew Hunter recently.
Yeah. We also had Kate Murphy make the semifinals of the Olympic trials in the 1500.
What do you think it is about here that creates so much talent? Is it just the area itself?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I just think it's the type A personality fits DC really well. We've got very driven people who work and live here that are health conscious, multitaskers, who are always busy, and I think that's the DNA of a runner, and I think that's what Washington D.C. is.
I think some of the things that are really special about the DC metro area, or a lot of people here call it the DMV, which is District, Maryland, and Virginia, is the amount of diversity there is. And it's really urban in places. It's got great food, lots of culture because there's so many diplomats and foreign workers that are in town. So you have like really incredible restaurants, festivals. You can go down to museums. Most of the museums are free, but there's also quite a bit of nature. So there's people stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, rock climbing. Whenever I go like to a mountain town or something, people ask me where I live, and I'll be like, I live in DC, and everyone gets this crestfallen look on their face and they feel sorry for me. And I'm always like, no, I love it here. There's so much to do, and there's so many opportunities here. So I've had the chance to move other places, and I've always ended up wanting to stay here just because of the dynamic people, culture, and diversity. And it's something not to be taken for granted when you're, in the middle of a trail, and then you pop out and the White House is on your left and the Washington Monument's on your right. These are places that people come from miles and miles in different countries and continents to see, and it's something that is just right in our backyard, and I try to always kind of appreciate that if I can.
walk in and you see like John Candy and
Mick Jagger. He was
Mick
Jagger.
Yeah, I think the story behind the pictures on the wall are that the chef has cooked for a bunch of famous celebrities, and they've kind of chronicled that. And then, you know, we're lucky enough to be on the wall because these are friends of ours, like next door neighbors, and we've been with them throughout the process of them, you know, coming up with the concept, winning a contest, and now they've got this lovely space where they can showcase all their skill and expertise, and the food is delicious, so we come here quite often.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Their house backs up to our house, so like you can stand in our backyard and you know, they're always out grilling, so you hear and smell like all these amazing like scents coming over the fence.
So very often that's an after run meal for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt and I actually went on a run this morning, and we sort of stumbled on a really nice trail called 4 Mile Run, but I hear you apparently live near there, and it's a good system of trails.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have a really nice infrastructure of bike trails in the area, and that's actually how I do my commuting to and from work.
Yeah, it's so great to have that in your backyard too.
Exactly. Well, that's actually one of the reasons we purchased the house we did, is because I had really close access to the trail.
Not only linking the cities too, but the states. It's
Yeah.
so surreal to me coming from the West Coast to be running.
You don't run between states.
You're on a run and you've just gone through 3 different states.
But there's a trail run that you can do where you go in 4 states. So you start in Pennsylvania, you go through West Virginia, and you end up in Maryland.
And how long is that?
It's like 42, 43 miles.
Which is long but doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well this looks great too.
Yeah.
What is this that you ordered?
I don't know if you get this when you travel somewhere. When you first get home, you're like excited to be home, and then like a week later, you're like, oh, I missed that thing that I had when I came home from Menorca in May. Like when I was there for Cama de Cavalles, about a week later, I wanted to get some paella and then also some pan con tomate.
That's cool that running's provided you the chance too to get to see such an eclectic view of the world. Yeah, and you take your kids with you on a lot of those races.
Yeah, they've already been to 14 countries as a 10 and 7-year-old, which is pretty incredible. And they've tried octopus in Japan this year. They were in a science class learning about the Great Barrier Reef, and last year we were in Australia and they were out on the Great Barrier Reef. And it's one of the huge things that I love about what I get a chance to do.
Travel the world and have your family come join you. It's pretty cool.
So we've seen a lot of the DC area during the day. As that kind of winds down and you get into the evening, what's DC like?
DC has a pretty vibrant nightlife scene. You know, there's lots of bars and restaurants. There's a lot of international flavors, people that are going to different film festivals. There's a really nice theater scene, so we get a lot of big name acts coming to town. The museums stay open late at night, so you can take arts in. There's also people out running at night, like groups meet at night. I've done runs all through the city. You know, I think one of the coolest things is like just going for a run and seeing how the city changes, like, you know, from 9 o'clock until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, how the bars, you know, kind of swell with people around 11 or 12 and then, you know, kind of empty out around 2 or 3 in the morning. You know, you have the Capitol in front of you and the Washington Monument. My favorite monument is the Lincoln. That one still like stabs me in the heart with how beautiful it is and just powerful. Like Abe sitting there on the seat in the Gettysburg Address. It's inspiring to know that there are people that have walked these paths before us and kind of walking and treading through history as you're running.